What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please? The world, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo energy at the foundation. What do we have at the sacral, please, Spirit? The Hierophant, Taurus energy at the sacral. And one more, please. What do we have at the solar plexus? Four of Pentacles, Capricorn energy at the solar plexus. Okay, there's something here that is beginning to come into view for a lot of you, and I feel that this is the result of having released certain patterns and or people, environmental factors and such from your life. The World card at the foundation is telling me that there's a cycle that is closed out here, and this has been in all the readings lately. And this is all dependent on your birth chart, and the transits are going to be affecting everybody differently here. Now, with the Hierophant to the sacral, that sacral represents the fire in your belly in my readings. There's something here that the divine is helping you with. Your path is being cleared towards something. Now, going back to the actual core of the message that I was picking up in my meditation for this particular reading, all had to do with something that you thought or maybe were told was not going to be something that you would be accessing in this life cycle, okay? And it's as if you are now being given access to this, but again, it's only a result of what you have released from your life. So I feel that a lot of you have been on this path for a while where you've been self-improving. You've been releasing things that don't serve your highest good. You've been aligning yourself with a more optimal path, something that supports your true heart's desires and is a bit closer to the vision you want for your life. Now, I feel in the process of doing this, you have also tried to remain relatively grounded within what you have been thinking you could actually manifest into your life. Now, what I mean by this is, through the awakening process, you've been trying to be realistic, but you've also been holding on to some sort of outside influence, and the universe is saying to you, hey, this is not a matter of being realistic. Those dreams, those visions, those desires that we put inside of you were there for a reason. These people tried to dig them out of you. Those people tried to knock you off your path. So this process you're going through right now needs you to think outside of the box. This process needs you to shoot for the stars. Because whether or not you are consciously aware of this, you have actually been putting the work in to align yourself with a particular vision, a particular manifestation. This Four of Pentacles at the solar plexus is telling me that you're still holding yourself back, though. It's almost like you see it taking shape on the horizon line, but you can't believe it. It's like going through the process of release, self-improvement, and as you're doing this, all of a sudden this dream just starts to show up and you're like, wait, I didn't think I was going to be able to gain access to this in this life cycle. And again, the universe says to you, oh no, this was all a part of your mission statement. You are most definitely going to be gaining access to this, but you still need to remain very focused. You need to ground yourself and understand the reality of your situation is about to see you completely surrounded by said vision and or dream. And not only is this obviously an exciting prospect, but there's still a level of disbelief here. And you have every right to feel that way. And the divine knows that you feel that way too, based on your path and how far you've come. You're just looking forward to a more peaceful, more grounded life, a more stable existence. But this has also got you thinking about everything that you've overcome. You start to analyze your relationships with people that you have left behind. You start to see now that quite possibly there was some sort of a campaign to keep you from something. This is one of these situations that I have on this table where you're about to prove a lot of people wrong. And it's not so much about revenge. You're not driven with the need for revenge at all. It's just something that's going to happen by default. It's like you're harnessing the power of a dragon. And I say that because leading up to the reading, as I mentioned, I was in meditation with the collective energy, and I just kept seeing this image of this red dragon. And symbolically, this is just speaking about you waking up this inner power, this courage, and getting this clear focus. I'm also seeing a lot of you standing in what looks to be some sort of wasteland. The wasteland is everything you've left behind. And in front of you is the sun on the horizon line with the shape of this dragon and the shape of this manifestation. And there you are, just standing in complete disbelief that this is your life now. It's starting to feel like a dream. It's starting to actually represent a lot of what we hear when it comes down to timeline jumping. You realize now that things will never be the same. things are about to take a massive turn in your life. And this, again, is all a result of your focus and dedication to improving your life and circumstances. But for real, there's a lot of people who like to talk about the things that you're actually doing because it's just a way that people communicate these days. People associate doing shadow work as going through a breakup and not responding to their ex's text as shadow work. We just live in this completely absurd world right now where everything is just very upside down from what truth actually is. But regardless of how other people are moving inside this life cycle, you're right on track. And I feel that a lot of you have been very focused on this. And this is why we are beginning to see the dragon take shape on the horizon line. And right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Swords. Now, this is really depicting what I said about the wasteland. And the Five of Swords here is an energy of terminating unhealthy relationships from your life and being open to the change. And that is a perfect representation of what it is I'm getting inside all of your energy right now. You didn't try to hold on to these past cycles. Yes, it was challenging to get over them, but you've reached this new plateau in your healing journey now. And you'll typically find that this next evolution of your journey is when you start to see things coming into your life to replace old energies. It's another way of saying, hey, you've put the work in. Now it's time to reap some of the rewards for all of your hard work. A lot of people start out on this journey and they expect to be rewarded for it instantly. And that right there is going to find these people likely giving up on the healing journey because they think that because they're healing themselves, that they deserve some sort of compensation. Now, the universe does compensate our healing journey because when we heal ourselves, we're also doing our part in helping heal the collective. It's all a part of evolution. However, the mindset of expecting some sort of compensation for that is what still keeps an individual out of alignment because it says that their heart is in the wrong place. It's too much of, well, what am I going to get from this? As opposed to, I don't expect any sort of compensation for this journey. I'm just happy to be on it, which is the mindset that all of you have taken on. And this is why you are about to experience the next evolution of this particular journey you have been on because your heart has been in the right place. What do we have at the heart, please, Spirit? Seven of Swords at the heart, Aquarius energy. Now, this is going all the way back to what I mentioned in regards to people trying to steer you away from your true north, from your path. People making you feel like this and that was not going to be something that you were going to be able to attain. This is further emphasizing what I stated in regards to you proving these people wrong. And again, not because you're trying to get revenge, but because it's a part of the natural order of the universe and your particular life cycle. A lot of you are moving on from certain situations that were draining you of your life force. The Seven of Swords is a very sneaky, very underhanded, backstabbing kind of energy. This is the kind of energy that will see a special kind of light in somebody and do everything they can to try and extinguish it. And this would have been people that were relatively close to all of you. And as painful as it was to release some of these people from your life, you cannot deny that everything in your life has gotten progressively better ever since you moved on from these energies. And that right there is typically going to be a reason why a lot of these people will keep their distance from you because they know that you see it now. People's lack of presence in your life after you set off on this journey has a way of exposing more than you could ever begin to imagine. It's an energy of them not knowing what you now know regarding what they always knew. Right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Wands. Okay, so the cards are really following everything I'm saying here. The Seven of Wands is the pushback. This is them trying to discourage you. It's an energy of feeling overwhelmed. It's an energy where they're trying to get you to give up. They don't want you to go down this path. A lot of you dealt with situations where groups of people came against you. This could have been multiple family members, multiple friends, communities. For some of you, it was all of those things, which in some cases can really speak about what it is you are being given access to. I have found that people who have a calling to quite possibly affect large groups of people in a positive way will have large groups of people come against them from going down that path. It's as if the force out there in the universe that is trying to hold all of these chosen individuals from navigating their path know exactly what it is you were assigned to do in this life cycle. So think about everything that you have had to overcome in your life on this path. And that might give you a bit of an idea of what it is you're supposed to do. And a lot of the times what it is you're supposed to do is something that is calling you from the depths of your soul. And it's typically going to feel like it's outside of your grasp. You're going to think it's just a dream or a vision. You may think that you're delusional thinking that you can actually attain that. But a lot of the times it takes getting a bit delusional to actually pull it off. You know, in a lot of cases too, when an individual is trying to achieve some level of greatness in their life, they have to isolate themselves from other people, because other people's opinions on how they're moving can be the very thing that disrupt their movement forward on that path. Let's say it's something that sees you having to pour all of your time, all of your money, all of your focus into a certain space year after year to refine your skills and really get something moving. You are likely not going to get any sort of major support from the people around you, because they just look on at that and they think that maybe you're losing your mind. But again, you have to kind of lose your mind to achieve what it is I'm picking up in this energy right now. And we hear about this stuff all of the time. People who achieve some level of greatness in their life, where they create something, they invent something, they write a song, they create a piece of art, or they just do something that impacts a large collective of people in a positive, meaningful way. There's always some crazy backstory behind it. And in a lot of these situations, there'll be a common parallel where most of these people weren't supported. People thought that they were completely out of their mind. The sooner that you stop trying to seek validation from any people in your life about the path you're walking on, the sooner you will get to your destination. So much time is wasted trying to gain validation from people who can't understand what it is you are actually trying to achieve in your life. Trust me, I spent decades trying to just get people to support what it was that I wanted to do, and it got me nowhere. I just ended up in a space where I was looking around at my life in complete disbelief with where I ended up, and also looking at my own reflection and feeling disconnected from the reflection that was staring back at me. And this was all a result of spending a large portion of my life more focused on trying to gain other people's acceptance than I was focused on the actual task at hand. It wasn't until I hit an absolute rock bottom did I realize that something was up, that I realized I needed to make some major changes in my life. And the first one being that I needed to disconnect myself from all outside energies and all influence to actually see if I would begin progressing forward on my path. And after ruthlessly cutting everything and everyone out of my life that I even suspected in the slightest may have been opposing what it was I was trying to achieve in my life, I experienced a massive push forward. When I look back at it now, it often feels like it happened overnight. But I also got to a point where I was so sick and tired that I didn't hesitate with the cutoff game. I was desperate for the breakthrough. And what I noticed as well, and this is referencing something that I mentioned earlier on in the reading here, is that with each person and or behavioral pattern, mindset, tons of different things. With each thing I released from my life, it's like I edged a little closer. It's like I had a little bit more movement forward. And then those last couple of things that I released, which opened up the floodgates. And those last couple of things were directly connected to other people. I also need to add a side note here, is that the most important part of this process is that you always take responsibility for yourself. Yes, there may have been external forces that influence the energies in and around your life, but there is that point on your path where you can say, okay, I'm not going to allow this anymore. I'm actually going to take responsibility for my own energy. And it's in that moment when you take responsibility and you say, you know what, those people can't affect me anymore. Those people never affected me. I just never saw it clear enough to do anything about it. That's when you start to see the real movement. So I say all this to say, this is not about pointing the finger or blaming other people. It's just calling a spade and understanding that when the universe shows you the truth, you better act on it. Because if you don't, there's no one else to blame but yourself. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? King of Cups, water energy at the throat. And what do we have at the third eye, please? Seven of Pentacles, and then we have the Sun right here. So the King of Cups to me is representing the shut-off game. Now, cups are emotional, so a lot of this has to do with your reaction to these things and how you allow them to affect you moving forward. The King of Cups is also the Stoic of the tarot. So this is telling me that a lot of the things that once affected you and your forward momentum are all things that you are now aware of enough to not allow it to affect your movement forward anymore. It's to say that all the things that may have once triggered a reaction out of you, which was working in direct opposition with your movement forward, now has zero effect on you. Because you start to see it as the distraction, as the opposition. It's like saying, oh, I see now. Those people, those situations, those events, those mindsets I had, those behavioral patterns that I was utilizing in my everyday waking life, those addictions I had, big or small, all of these things were elements of this opposing force. The people were vessels. The mindsets were your lack of confidence in yourself, which comes down a lot of the time to having a lack of faith, belief that you can actually pull something off, which further highlights your connection to source. The stronger your connection is to source, the more faith you have. The more faith you have, the more confidence and courage you have. The more confidence and courage you have, the better your ability to actually pull something off. The Seven of Pentacles at the third eye is telling me that you are about to find yourself in the process of building and manifesting this vision into your life. It's like this next chapter is going to see you stepping into the energy of creation and bringing this thing forward. Up until now, you have been going through the process of healing. You have been going through the season of releasing all of these things that don't serve your highest good. I mentioned in one of the readings recently, I think it was a members reading, that a lot of the times we can enter into that space and forget that we're even there or what it is we're focused on, because you get so consumed by the healing. You're just trying to become better at living. And then the Sun card at the crown is the ultimate success. This is the manifestation on the horizon line, literally the sun. The most high vibrational card in the tarot. Complete success, fulfillment, alignment, and happiness. The King of Cups here is also representing what you've had to go through to get here. It's like energetically you've had to travel to a far-off land, across the storming seas, just to be able to bring this thing to full manifest. Seven of Pentacles, the Sun. What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please, Spirit? King of Pentacles, Earth energy. Underneath the world at the foundation. Now, this King of Pentacles to me is representing some sort of overbearing, jealous patriarch that a lot of you could have been dealing with. It could have been connected to one person or just a collective, an idea, a group of people. This is an energy here that is saying, you'll never pull that off. That's not for you. You can't do that. You're not good enough for this. You're not good enough for that. Give it up. You'll never make it. That's what this energy is right here. Now, it doesn't have to be a male for all of you. It could be a female too. It's just how it's showing up in the reading here, okay? And if it is a female for you, more of like a matriarch, it could be that they have very masculine qualities, but it's more just the energy of the situation here. And when you go through these sorts of cycles with these people, there's a level of healing that you have to go through. And see, this is further emphasizing the healing journey. Because when you go through these karmic cycles with these sorts of people, you're typically going to need to put through several seasons of healing just to prepare you for what's coming in here. And it's during that process that we have a tendency to forget what it is we were actually working towards this entire time. So it's like, here you are, walking through this wasteland, just trying to heal yourself, just trying to build a better life for yourself. And then boom, You cross over this hilly terrain and you see the manifestation beginning to take shape on the horizon line. This is the universe saying, hey, well, you've come a long way. Nobody makes it this far, but here you are. You made it. You made it through the wasteland, which is just a metaphor for the healing that you had to go through because of your dealings with certain energies in your life. But the fact you even decided to walk through that wasteland was you taking responsibility for yourself. You didn't stop to turn around and point your finger at anybody. You just realized, you know what? It is what it is. The sooner I just disconnect from these energies, the better. So really, at this point, it's up to me whether I want to allow this to continue any further, which again is putting a further emphasis on the importance of taking responsibility for ourselves. What do we have at the sacral, please, Spirit? Too many cards. What do we have at the sacral, please? Four of Wands, there it is. Okay, so the Four of Wands here puts an emphasis on family, communities, things of the like. It's an energy that speaks, this literally just follows what I said because this represents you leaving. Four of Wands from this deck is an energy of leaving home, leaving your community, leaving the environment that you were in with these people. You came to the conclusion that there was a certain level of misaligned values there, and there was this communication breakdown between the person that you were being guided to become and the person that these people expected you to remain. In other words, it's like saying that every time you would speak about your dreams or what it was that you were going to accomplish in your life, you were met with criticism or some sort of pushback. It just eventually made you feel completely disconnected from the person that you were being guided to become. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? King of Cups. Wow. King of Pentacles, Four of Wands, King of Cups. Yeah, this is a lot of pushback here. The King of Cups is an energy of mental and emotional manipulation. It's essentially an energy of emotional abuse, which I feel most, if not all of you, were subjected to in your process to becoming this person that you're becoming now. It was all a part of the path. These are the bosses that you have to defeat at the end of the levels in the video game. What do we have at the heart position, please, Spirit? Chariot, red in its negative polarity underneath that Seven of Swords. So this Chariot card from this deck speaks about energies that were trying to affect your focus. It's also an energy that was trying to get you to give up on something. We saw the Seven of Wands underneath the deck, which gives a similar message. It's also an energy that was actively trying to control the direction that you were going in your life. A very narcissistic energy. And given the fact that we have the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups plus the Four of Wands, all red in their shadow here, speaks about this being environmental. It could have been people that maybe you looked up to at one point in time. Authority in your life. Maybe it was family. Maybe it was people that you thought you could trust. That's what I'm getting here. That's what makes this process more challenging when you have to overcome the pushback from people you thought you could trust, because there's an element of that that is literally paradigm shifting. It changes the way you interface with your reality. Like, wow, I can't believe it. They were actually against me this entire time. I didn't see it until now. That's typically the hardest part about all of this, and that's why the healing journey is necessary. It's like you have to go through, well, yeah, I just heard Dark Night of the Soul, okay, which is like that wasteland. This is when you're having to face a lot of the truths that maybe you weren't prepared to accept before, or maybe you just didn't see it. Based on what I'm picking up in this reading, a lot of you just didn't see it the way you're seeing it now. There's a veil that's been ripped back. It's like waking up from one day to the next and seeing somebody in a completely different way than you did the day before based on something that's been revealed to you by the universe. Like you just start to put things together in such a way that it's like, whoa, where am I? Who are these people? I don't even recognize my own reflection that's staring back at me anymore. Something's got to change here. And these are things that are typically going to all be compounded together when the universe and spirit is trying to wake you up to something. That's how it's going to look. These are all elements of what a tower energy is going to feel like. It's when it feels like everything in your life is just coming apart at the seams, because it's the universe's way of saying, hey, we're about to come in and get you. But before we do so, we need to expose some very difficult truths to you, so you're prepared to take the leap when we show up. And then on this side of the card, Six of Swords. Okay. So the Six of Swords is an energy of moving on from some sort of painful situations in your life. It's a necessary transition. It can be representing travel or relocation, but it's also a rite of passage energy, which tells me that all of this needed to go down exactly the way it did. And whenever I see this card, especially for a message like this, it's like, you're flipping off the past, right? Screw you then. You never believed in me anyway. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? The Devil. Capricorn energy at the throat. This devil is a perfect depiction of what I'm picking up in regards to these energies. It's like you spot them and see how he's shuffling off. So it speaks about the opposing force, okay, working through these people, through these situations. And then the universe helps you spot this in your life. And when you spot it, it's like putting the spotlight on this devil energy. And as we can see here, he's fleeing. It can no longer affect you. The devil from this deck is you breaking the chains. You're overcoming this spiritual oppression. It's like a bondage in your life that you may have not even realized was restricting you up until now. It's like there's something about a perspective shift that's taken place in your life. Again, like I mentioned, where you're just seeing things differently now. These things can't hide from you any longer. You're seeing through something here. That's what I'm getting inside this energy. And this is the energy that you're flipping off right there. Well, screw you then, devil. And so I always use this kind of dark humor in my readings to detail how these energies show up in our life, because it's always a bit easier to digest when we put this kind of twisted humor behind it, right? But having said that, what you'll find is that a lot of these things that I'm describing to you are very, very real, and you'll see them unfold in some capacity in your life. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Eight of Wands, Sag energy at the third eye. Okay, so there's a lot of movement here now that we're starting to pick up, and I'm getting a ringing in my ears as well. I feel that some sort of breakthrough is imminent here for a lot of you. As I mentioned, you've just been walking through the wasteland, doing all this healing, but there's like a benchmark that you're reaching. This is the best way that I can explain what it is I feel for all of you. You know, it could be that you have some sort of a breakthrough in an area of your life. Maybe it's connected to a project, or some sort of door opens up for you. There just seems to be some sort of glimmer of hope. It's like the universe saying, hey, we haven't forgotten about you. We've just been arranging things for you behind the scenes this entire time. But get ready, because there's about to be a breakthrough. And I just keep getting this message about you finding yourself going about your everyday waking life one day soon, whether, and some of you may be experiencing this right now, and you have to stop and pinch yourself like, oh my God, this is my life now. I actually get to do this. This is going to come to pass. It's like waking up inside your dream, but it's not your dream. It's just what was always supposed to be for you. And this, again, is just another way of explaining what it feels like when you go through a timeline jump. Yes, you put the hard work into getting there. Day after day, you were compounding all of your healing, walking through that barren wasteland, so to speak. So of course, you would eventually get a breakthrough. And when that breakthrough comes through, it's like when we see in the movies and someone has been trekking through a hot desert and they don't have any water, and then finally they reach an oasis or they find some water and they take that first sip and it's like, oh my God. That's what this feels like. It's like you're going to feel alive, truly, for the first time ever. Yes, you've been alive this entire time, but it felt controlled, or it felt filtered. It felt dictated. Okay, Spirit, let's close this out for the collective. What do we have at the crown? Page of Cups, water energy at the crown to close out the reading. And as soon as this card flipped over, look at, he's holding a cup of water. Like, oh my God, I found the oasis, which is just a metaphor for what you are going to step into. The Page of Cups is also representing a new beginning here. And whenever I see this particular Page of Cups, we can see that he's very fit. There's this energy of just rebirth. It's like you're getting your wings. It's to say that you go through this process and you're reborn and you just have this new kind of zest for life. This is also an energy of synchronicity. It's an energy of a creative beginning and some sort of good news that I feel is imminent, right? Like I mentioned here. Something is coming through here. Eight of Wands, the Sun, Page of Cups. Something is imminent. Some sort of good news is preparing to come into your life. And I have nothing further to add. All right, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and hit that hype button if you feel you got something useful from this reading. Information for personal readings can be found in the description down below, as well as links to join the membership side of my channel where I upload additional videos each week. I'm also still running a sale at PLUTOBEANstudio.com. You can see a bunch of the items in the sidebar if that's something that you are interested in. I'd also like to extend my gratitude to everybody who continues to donate and support my channel. But in closing, I would like to know how this reading resonated with you, so drop me a heart and or a comment, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.